In today's video, we're going to be taking a look here at our upcoming storminess. There is those multiple East Coast storms. We have one ongoing now. We have another one on the way later on. We do have colder air in the area. It has been that way, so you've probably noticed, and it is expected to stay that way for a while. But we finally have some insight as to when that could flip in a very warm and hot even direction for the eastern half of the nation. I do have a lot of insight about that to tell you guys later on within this video. Now, before we get into things, I do want to tell you a little bit about my brand new business, Trilogy Maps, that we launched about 2 weeks ago. Today is the final day of that 50% off deal, so be sure to go and grab those maps if you wanted to grab any, because that does end at 12 a.m. tonight. I am extremely excited to announce that I have launched my second business called Trilogy Maps. You can check it out at trilogymaps.com in the description and the pinned comment down below. We have gone ahead and created the highest definition and most customizable digital maps you can find anywhere here on the internet at an extremely affordable price as well, might I add. These maps are so customizable due to our very unique layering system that make it possible to basically create whatever map you like. I seriously wish this was around when I first got into weather, because making weather maps that look extremely professional has never been this easy before. So if you want the highest definition, most customizable, and most professional looking weather maps that you can possibly make for a very affordable price, go ahead and check out trilogymaps.com. And we're actually doing a 50% discount until May 1st, so be sure to grab these maps before May 1st because they will be doubling in price by that point. Now let's get straight into things, and first things first, we're taking a look here at our storminess, and I want to just move it towards this afternoon. This is approximately where we're at right now, and as you can see, we do have this low over northern North Carolina there for the most part, and this is leading towards quite a bit of thunderstorm activity in here, even some severe weather in cases. Definitely been a stormy morning here in Virginia, and that looks to continue through the evening today. We do have a large ridge out west, as you can see, followed by a massive trough, and then something like this is what we're seeing here. And we're seeing a lot of push of warmth here, but this cold is wanting to enter in. So there's a lot of intense motion in the ocean happening here with a low in between to kind of just anchor it all in. So this is a pretty intense look. It's definitely not a very mild pattern, to say the least. As we just move towards this evening, we can see that a line of thunderstorms as this cold front approaches is going to develop here, and this is a big concern for potential severe weather and more thunderstorms for these areas. Virginia, Delmarva, up through New Jersey, that cold front will bring potential thunderstorms to those areas, and that will come to an end overnight tonight. We would be left with finally some dry weather, as you can see, for these areas underneath. Your low is up here in Canada. We do have some activity happening in these areas offshore, but really quieter, but much colder, as you can see, as this trough is doing something like this. So we're seeing a lot of storminess enter into this area, and the cold is able to really work its way in to the mid-Atlantic here. And really, we're left with a much colder pattern, and we can see this leads towards some snowfall here to the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, into portions of the mid-Atlantic there. For those mountainous areas in Pennsylvania, Maryland there, and even West Virginia. Definitely some very mountainous, very high elevation snowfall, of course, but it is very late in the season to be seeing this, as this will be May 2nd by this point, so we're already going to be moving through into portions of May. We can see already, still by the time we're taking a look at the 4th, we have something like this still going on, so still some colder, perhaps stormier weather here, as you can see, for the eastern states here still by this point. But it's as we work our way towards Thursday, Friday, Saturday time frame, we're seeing that there is a shift happening here. I would say a majority of this ridge is located over the central United States at this point, so there is some colder air there in the west and in the east, but we're seeing a large warm push here over the central United States, and we've seen this time and time again. So if you're really observant, you probably know what's coming after this, but this is going to push its way eastward and actually lead towards some ridging here for the east. And by this point, I'm thinking Sunday, Monday timeframe, that's going to be the 7th, 8th. We should see a lot of warmer temperatures returning here to a lot of your eastern states, even your central states there. And then there's actually more storminess and cold here over the west. So we're going to put a down arrow there for that. So some storminess, lower pressure, lower temperatures is the trend out for the northwest. That is what we're seeing by this point. And then we can see maybe some more thunderstorm activity happening by time we're reaching midweek that week there around May 10th. Now we will take more looks at the temperature anomalies here in just a little bit, but first off, I want to show you the precipitation. Here we're going to see this increasing for the northwest, so we're on an uptrend here for sure. And then we're going to see this getting quieter here. After this first storm is said and done, there's a couple of more moderate storms, but we don't see anything major like we're seeing with this system that's currently overhead. We can tell, though, that the activity is going to be there for these areas in general over the next 10 days. The red areas being 2 to 5 inches of precipitation, certainly a whole lot there. As we take a look at that total snowfall, we can see that this is an interesting event happening up here, where again we're gonna have this low overhead, colder air, and it's gonna lead towards some overnight snowfall for some of these higher elevation and very far northern areas there. Now, as we kind of see usually in this time of year, late April, early May, we do see snowfall happening for the mountainous west, but it is becoming much more exclusive for the high elevation areas, and it in general is becoming less and less and less, and we should continue to see this week after week until we don't even have to look at the total snowfall. This is exactly what happened in years past as I've been doing this channel, where we're going to get a 3 or 4 month break from even looking at this until about September timeframe, perhaps even October, but usually it's around late September when we start having to take a look at this again for those mountainous areas. So I am excited to stop looking at this. I'm also already, weirdly enough, looking forward towards looking at this again. So it's a very exciting thing for me, at least, because I'm very into the weather. Now, let's take a look at those temperature anomalies. I kind of hinted at this. We do see that there is, again, just colder air in place for most of the east already just by the beginning of this model run. So you can tell that we have just a ridge in the west, trough in the east pattern. There's no denying it. It looks something like this, and we see a lot of warm surging happening in the west. It's been very, very hot out there. As we continue this forward, we can see things get even colder for the east by the time we're reaching about Wednesday the 3rd. Where was this all winter? I don't know, because this would have been a very cold and snowy pattern if this was January or February. But it came a little too late, obviously. We do see plenty of warmth still here for a lot of the west out in Canada and the United States there. Certainly that's going to be a big factor as well. And we see the cold continuing, but by the time we're reaching about the 7th or 8th, just like we saw in that European model, we get to this more neutral point of things where there's cold out west, as you can see. There's cold also in the east, and then we have this big old ridge there in the central middle portion of the United States. But it's as we continue on towards about the 10th, 11th, 12th time frame. Look at this. We see much more of this popping up on this European ensemble model, which this has multiple opinions, okay? This is about 20 or 30 models put together, and their mean average of what they're predicting is put together. So we see a majority there of that ensemble is calling for this warmer temperatures trending in for the east by the time we're approaching the midpoint of May. So looking probably the 10th and beyond, which is only 10 days out. So to see a overall, big picture pattern, it's not too far-fetched to expect this to potentially have quite a bit of truth to it, or at least that's how I'm taking it at this point. We have seen these ensemble models be really good actually in the long range, especially this European ensemble model, which I've chosen to kind of hunker down with, as you've probably noticed over the past 6 or so months, because it's been so good in that 10 to 15 day range at predicting what the upcoming temperature pattern will look like. And at this point, it's calling for a trough to return to the west and a ridge to return to the east here. So we will see if that's true or not, but from the 10th and beyond, we really see something like this continuing. We can still see very warm in here and mostly cold for these areas here. So perhaps something like this. Obviously, the jet stream won't look that extreme, but certainly looking a little bit warmer in the east, looking a little bit cooler in the west. And we'll see if this trend continues to intensify or what's going to happen with this. I am excited to track this with you guys. We're going to close this video out as always. Be sure to click the link in the description or the pinned comment for that business Trilogy maps that I've launched. Again, today is the last day of that 50% off sale of our current price. So you want to go ahead and snatch those while you can at that discount price. And be sure to subscribe, as we do upload every single day. So we're going to continue to update you guys on this pattern. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications so you never miss one. Be sure to also like the video if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.